What happened to this guava tree or guava bush indoor? Is it dying? Is it dead? Actually not. What happened is that there was a week when I was not really feeling good and I just forget to water this guava indoor. I actually have 3 guavas indoor. Some of them have already some of them bear fruit before and then now they don't anymore. So if you have guava indoor, just forget it that you will have a lot of fruits on them, because in cold countries like Sweden it's not really easy. But the reason why I have guavas here I have 2 and I have no, I have only 3, 2 here and 1 in another in our TV room. So before this guava grows new leaves like this, it was like this. So when I found out that it was really dry, it dried up and I totally forgot to water it. And when you have kind of bush or kind of little tree, guava tree indoor, and you forgot to water it for a week and it's totally dry in the roots, then the tendency is the leaves will become like that. So when I found out, I was able to water it again, and so there are leaves left that are not totally destroyed or dried up. But you might think that if I was not able to water it immediately, all those leaves will totally get dry or be like this, and when you look at it they will just fall down on the ground. And if I will shake this guava, these leaves will just fall down. But do not be panicked that you will think my guava is dead, because actually it will take time before they will die. Guava is one of those plants. I mean, in my country, Philippines, when I was a kid, I remember that guavas are just, wild guavas are just, they're growing anywhere, like somewhere in the forest. And then when it's dry season, their leaves can totally become like this. But then when the rainy season comes, they will revive. They are very tolerant to dry season. So as you see here, if I will hold here, it's actually quite moist. It's not totally dry. And the reason why, if you have kind of trees inside your house, the reason why you have to check them all the time is that when they have already a lot of roots, it means that they suck moisture or water quite faster than the other plants, especially trees. So what you do is, it's really very good if you check them all the time. And normally you have to water them like once or twice a week when it's winter. When it's summer, you can just do it more than twice a week. It's because they will dry it up. I mean, this has to be transferred in a bigger pot. Okay, what happened now that the other leaves now are gone? When I water it, this is what happened. These other leaves are gone, but they will grow new leaves. That is how they survive. So it's not really very difficult for guavas to survive, even if they were able to experience drought. They can easily again have their new leaves, and all you do, you just take it out. So I have here another guava where all the leaves were totally gone, and that was because I just totally forgot to water them. And some plants, they do not even need water for a week. It's because they are not so thirsty plants. But guavas indoor can actually need a lot of water. So when you see, it's totally, everything of the leaves growing here are totally new. It's because all the leaves, they totally look dead. And what you do is just you cut them off. So what I will do with this is I just do a little bit of shaking, and all those leaves will just fall down. So that is one thing I want to tell people. When you have a plant where you took a 1 week vacation and when you came home they totally look dead, don't throw them, because plants will not immediately die. You have a chance to revive them. And just check the roots. It takes time before they will be totally dead. So this applies to all the plants. What you do is like this, for example. What I will do with this is I will just cut some branches. Okay, I will just cut this branch, take it out, and clear it out, clear up with all the leaves. So as you see now on the floor, it's a lot of leaves that fell down. Okay, and people might wonder why I have guava bush or guava trees inside my house. Do you know that guava trees are very good antiseptic, and it's actually proven. Even my husband, he never knew it before, and me, I've learned this from my grandmother. Before, when I got bruises, I cut my finger, whatever, my grandmother always just take a guava leaf, and the very good one to use are the young guava leaves, and these are the young ones. And they are also very good to make tea. If you feel like kind of a little bit of pain in your stomach, something like that, you just collect some of these small ones and then put hot water in it. I mean, I can take maybe 5 of like this, so it's equivalent to like 10 small leaves. Put warm water on it, and it's like your tea, and you drink it. And I will assure you, it really relieves. It really helps. And when it comes to cuts or bruises, guava leaves are very good. You just, try to, the soft of this, you just try to, how do you say it? Can put in your mouth and like put it on the cut, and I will tell you, it will totally stop the bleeding. And when you put it in your cut or some bruises, they are antiseptic, they are anti-inflammatory, and they will really stop infection. They will really avoid infection on your cut or in some bruises. But of course, I'm not talking of big cut or big bruises you have, but actually I had proven it. So as of now, if my husband cut his finger or something else, or a gut bruise, he will, like fall down on the ground. I had used a lot of this, and it actually prevents infection to your cuts or bruises, and it is totally proven. That is why I always have a guava tree. I have 3 of them. I have 4 before, but one I forgot outside and it died when the winter came. So that is of course, I understand that if you don't have a big place at home, but of course you can actually make them bonsai. So what you do is that you cut them in smaller, this is already kind of 1.5 meter long, but actually you can just cut them and you have a bonsai guava tree. One reason why I have a guava tree indoor, it's not only for the purposes of medication and making tea out of it, but it's also like so nice when you came from a tropical country. Anybody watching this video who is from a tropical country and living now abroad, living now in a country where you have cold winters, you can totally relate. When you live in a cold country like Sweden or other European countries or even other countries in the USA, I know you can relate that sometimes it's just so nice to have something inside a tropical plant, because it will remind you, of your days when you are in your tropical country. And when it's cold here, and I have here my guava, I totally remember when I was a kid, we go to the forest, we harvest, guavas. I had tasted these guavas, and this guava tree I grow, it's actually from seed. It was my sister who took it. I let her took 1 guava from the guava tree of my mom in her garden. and one small guava tree, and then I grow this from seed, and this is already quite long. I think I have this guava for like 10 years already, more or less 10 years, and this is how long it is now. So if you want a tree to grow much bigger, it's only to change the pot, the planter. If I will transfer it in a quite double bigger than this planter, it means that the guava tree can really grow. And then if you will not cut it either, it can really grow very big, because this is kind of tree, my mom's guava tree in her garden now is kind of, it's really a big tree already, but the fruit of this is actually like reddish inside, and of course it will, when it turns yellow and it's very ripe, but the flesh is kind of red. And this is not guava that grows, you know, big, because if you look for medicinal guavas, you should take the ones that are, you know, kind of native guavas, and they are not big guavas, they are small. They're the kind of guavas that can even grow in the forest and without any care of anybody. So as you see now, my guavas are like this. And sometimes if you have like lost bowel movement, problems in your stomach, you can actually just take some young leaves and just chew it in your mouth, chew it, and then you just, you know, take, it's kind of bitter, but it has a very nice aroma. I always like the aroma of the guava, but it's kind of bitter that, but a kind of bitterness that you can take it. And another thing is that guava leaves are also very good to have, like example, you have been eating something that is, you know, kind of smelly, or something that is kind of fatty, you can actually chew some guava. It's like, you know, you're chewing a chewing gum, and chewing these guava leaves, it really freshens up your teeth or your breath or your mouth. So it's a lot of uses this guava tree can give you, and that is those reasons, that is why I kept my guava tree inside my home. So as you see, I have all other plants here growing. And yes, so the main thing that I can give, the big tip that I can give to you, this can happen to any plant. This can happen to any plant. And don't be panicked. Just take out those leaves that get destroyed like this. Just take them out. All those leaves that get destroyed, just take them out. Don't throw them, because don't throw the plant. A lot of people, especially here in Europe, here in Sweden specifically, a lot of people, they buy plants. They plant it, and when they see that, oh, they came from a vacation, after 2 weeks they came from a vacation and the plant looks dead, and what do? They throw it immediately. No, don't throw the plant. Give it a chance. Try to water it, try to inspect, cut. One thing that I can tell you, you cut a branch of it. When you see that it's green in the middle, it's not crispy, it means that if the branches, the small branches, are kind of crispy already, it means that the plant is totally dead. But if you will see that the stems are still green, it means that the roots are still active. So when the roots are active in a plant, it doesn't matter if the plant lost all the leaves. It doesn't matter. Just cut them off, some of the branches, and water it and let them be. Because I will tell you, they will regenerate again. They are not totally dead. So I have all the plants I have here. I have stories of them where they almost die. I mean, here in Sweden, people are so used that they travel, and then when you come home, even if you have already prepared something that you have a lot of water there down, but still sometimes they get dried up, and you come home from your vacation or travel, and all the leaves are looking dead and withered and crispy, And don't conclude that your plant is dead. No, revive them, because plants has a life where they can regenerate. Just give them water, and that's all. And when you give them water, do not water them all the time. It's enough that they're wet, okay? As long as they're wet and moist, they will be revived and they will survive. You think like this. Plants who are in the wilderness, there are times of drought. When there will be a drought for like 3 months, 2 months, never think that all those plants will die, because nature takes care of them. And what happened? You can have a drought for half a year. Suddenly it will rain. When the roots are already there, deep down in the ground, they still get moist at night time, for example, and they actually don't die. I mean, plants, especially if they have already a lot of roots, it takes time before they will totally die. So you can always revive any plant, indoor or outdoor, by just watering them. But once you have watered them, don't water them again unless they kind of a little bit of dried again, because the tendency, if you give them a lot of water, the roots can also get rotten. Why? Because when they don't have leaves anymore, it means that the plant is not anymore sucking a lot of moisture or water. So it means that if you put them a lot of water, you can harm the roots, and the roots might get rotten. So that is how you deal with the plants. Do not overwater them when they don't have leaves anymore. To revive a plant, don't water them. They don't have leaves anymore, so they don't need a lot of moisture or water. It's just enough that you water them once, and that is all. So in this area, this is actually our dining area. That is why I have a lot of plants here, and it's because I just love sitting there and just watching the plants. So if you are in a country where it's like you came from a tropical country, you are used to be just outside, enjoy your plants and so on. And then suddenly you came in a country where it's just so cold, and when it's winter, now there's no snow, but later on it can snow until March here in Sweden. It still can snow on a March. But the snow melted when the temperature goes up, and now there is no snow outside, but you will never know, it will snow again, and it's just so cold outside. So everything outside, except for the pine trees, the arbor vitae, they are the only plants that survive, and they have their leaves. The other plants, they lost their leaves, but they will all come back again, all those leaves, during the spring. But that is the reason why all tropical plants of mine are inside. And when I'm inside, it's just the same like you go somewhere else on a mall and there's an area there where they put plants. Why are they putting it? Because they can really give you some kind of feeling of calmness. I mean, what is the best thing actually? To be in nature, right? So bring in the nature inside your house and you will really feel it. Of course, you have to take care of them. So it's nothing for free, you have to give them, care. And it's as you see here, so I have a lot of plants here, and all these plants I have them already, some of them like for 5 years, some of them like 10 years already I have them. So they are really growing and growing, and the more they grow, the more they need more, how to say it, water. And there are times where if I am tired of changing the soil, I give them the artificial, food. That is what you do. If you wonder why there are a lot of places and their plants really look so good, even though they are in small planters, it's because they are given artificial food. They are given this kind of vitamins for the plants, and that is why they still look great. So if you look at now with my guava, it doesn't look so good, but it's like that. Winter time is dormant time. Plants doesn't grow like in winter time. That is why now February, soon March, I will be starting to give them some artificial food. It's because they need it now. And when they are here inside, they don't get a lot of sunlight, and here inside it's actually still cold, okay? the temperature we have here inside, it's like the temperature of the Philippines, the tropical areas during their winter, during the December time. So we don't have either warm temperature here inside, especially that the electricity now is going crazy up. We cannot turn on our heaters as much as we can. So I hope that this video can really give you something that you can use, especially people who watch this, who loves plants. And I know how it feels, okay? When you have a plant that will die, I know how it feels. Because I am also somebody who have a lot of plants, and I had been like this since I was a kid. So as much as I can, I want that all my plants will live, you know. And it's just like, I understand people with pets, you feel sad if you lost your pet, if your pet will die. And it's the same with people who are plant lovers. So anyway, this is Evelyn of Liva Buhay, and I hope I was able to share to you information that you really need as a plant lover. See you again next time.